Welcome back to Katana TCG. In this week's early deck preview, we're taking a look at the new single prize Sunflora that's coming out in Lost Origin next month. When it's time to flex on your opponents in Top Cut this season, or even just upgrade your TCG accessories, make sure you're checking out inkgaming.com. They have a wide variety of custom playmats, custom dice bags, face masks, as well as mouse pads too, and a grip of sleeves and dice and deck boxes, all your TCG accessory needs. And you can use the code DADSPOD10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order from inkgaming.com. Your game, your style. This new single prize Sunflora card may not be the most competitive card to come out of Lost Origin. However, I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's going to be a tremendous amount of fun to play. And I think it has the ability to really sneak up on a lot of opponents that aren't expecting a single prize deck to hit quite this hard. So the core of this deck is obviously Sunkern and Sunflora. Sunkern's very lackluster with 40 HP, so it's not really much to read into that particular card. But the Sunflora with 90 HP is a grass type Pokemon for 2 colorless. It does Brilliant Beam for 10 plus damage, and you may discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand, and this attack does 70 more damage for each energy card you discarded this way. So if you're holding 3 energy in your hand with, I would assume is probably the double turbo energy or twin energy on your Sunflora, you're able to do 220 damage, which is cool. It unfortunately does have a damage ceiling given that you're only allowed to discard 3 energy out of your hand, but you still hit very, very hard for a single prize Pokemon. Things like Choice Belt will obviously give us a little bit of an advantage to hit for upwards of 250 damage, which is still very reasonable. Now, to streamline us getting the Sunfloras very consistently and being able to attack with them, as well as some other fun things we have in this deck, we also have Zorua and Zoroark with its Phantom Transformation ability, allowing it to switch with a Stage 1 Pokemon from the discard pile and putting the Zoroark and Zorua into the discard pile, and allowing you to really cycle in your Stage 1 attackers as you see fit. Now I've added a little bit of a bonus energy consistency card in the form of a 1/1 line of the Gossifleur from base set, if you will. For 1 colorless, it does call for family. You search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. So it's a great starting Pokemon, especially if you're going second. But it does evolve into the Eldegoss with the Cotton Lift ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this immediately gives us 2 energy to add to that attack that we need for Sunflora to deal max damage, but it also has the ability to set up things like our Galarian Moltres being able to grab 2 dark energy from our deck to be able to malevolent charge them onto this Galarian Moltres with its ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand, you may put it onto the bench and attach up to 2 dark energy from your hand to this Pokemon, setting it up in 1 turn with ease. And we do play a big handful of dark energy in this deck to be able to utilize Galarian Moltres and attack with Fiery Wrath for 2 dark and 1 colorless. That does 20 plus damage, and this attack does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent has taken 4 prizes, it's able to hit 220 damage, and we do play multiple choice belts to be able to bump this damage up if we need to, but also it comes in clutch if your opponent has taken more than 4 prizes, as it's getting to that V-Star range, and it definitely bodies anything that is weak to dark Pokemon. The Stage 1 Slowbro that came out in the Pokemon Go set is also a great addition to any of these single prize Stage 1 decks with the Zoro box, if you will. For 2 colorless, it does Twilight Inspiration. You can use this attack only if your opponent has exactly 1 prize card left, and then you take 2 prize cards. So this is huge, especially if you're in late game scenarios where you have 2 prizes left and your opponent has taken everything but 1. You're able to swing the game in your favor with Slowbro, and you can kind of just have it hovering around in your discard pile to use whenever you see fit. We've included a Radiant Greninja in this deck that allows us to draw into the necessary resources that we want, at least 2 cards at a time, by discarding an energy out of our hand with the Concealed Cards ability, and it is a very, very impactful card. We play Scoop Up Net in this deck to be able to reutilize this ability, kind of build hands. Unfortunately, discarding energy doesn't feel so good in a deck where we need to have the energy in our hand, but this does give us that extra push that we might need to satisfy an attack, or at least to create an early game board state. And single prize decks do need mana fees with its wave availability. You prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks of your opponent's Pokemon. So keeps us in the game just a little bit longer and prevents us from getting just absolutely obliterated by snipe damage. We are running 3 Quick Ball, we're running 3 Level Ball, we're playing 2 Evolution Incense to really give us a medium amount of Pokemon search. I would really like to bump those counts up and see something like a Battle VIP pass in this deck, but I already feel like there isn't a whole lot of space because we do need a lot of cards to put a lot of energy into our hand. And our supporter count is as such. We're playing 2 Cynthia's Ambition. You draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. And I think that this is pretty good to run a 2 count of. I would like to see maybe one more, but I also don't like anticipating that we're gonna get knocked out every turn. But given that we are a single price deck, there is a really good chance that we do just get knocked out every turn. And we are playing 2 Raihan. We play a tremendous amount of basic energy, so we can use this and the twin energy we play in this deck to really fulfill a lot of our attacks, being able to accelerate an energy out of the discard pile post knockout and then go into our deck and find one of any card. There is a new supporter card coming out in Lost Origin as well in the form of Lady. It is a reprint of an older card, so I did choose to use the older full art, which is kind of weird. It does look like a fake Pokemon card to me, but you search your deck for up to 4 basic energy cards, reveal them, and then put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. There are a lot of ways to play this, and I know people were playing it with the Nessa package that allows you to grab the Radiant Greninja if you needed to. However, we're doing the Galarian Moltres route to have a secondary hard-hitting Pokemon, so Lady is going to satisfy that need for us to be able to go grab 4 basic energy cards, put them into our hand, and hit for max damage with things like Sunflora. We're running 1 Professor's Research in the event that we want to discard our entire hand and draw until we have 7 cards. It's nice to have around, but I also just don't like discarding our resources because we need almost all of them to get this deck to function. We're playing 1 Clara to be able to go grab 2 Pokemon and 2 energy from our discard pile and put them straight into our hand. This allows us to recycle our Zoruas and Zoroarks to be able to switch into Sunfloras and Slowbros as we see fit. And we're playing 1 Roxanne. There are going to be several turns where your opponent has taken up to 3 prizes, so being able to Roxanne them a couple times feels pretty good. And we're playing a Pal Pad to allow us to reutilize our count of supporters as we see fit. Like I had mentioned before, being able to Roxanne more than once would be pretty impactful. We're playing 1 energy retrieval to be able to give us that 2 energy push to hit for max damage with Sunflora. We're playing a scoop up net as well to be able to utilize our Radiant Greninja or to pull something out of the active and switch into an attacker if we needed to. We're also playing a 2 count of Ordinary Rod to be able to put 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energy from our discard pile into our deck. We're playing 2 Choice Belts to be able to hit for 30 extra damage into our opponent's V Pokemon. We're playing a 1 of Balloon for a little bit of pivot. We are playing 2 Training Court to be able to go into our discard pile and grab those basic energies that we are discarding with Sunflora. Given that none of our Pokemon in this deck are V Pokemon, we can utilize the twin energy to fulfill the Slowbro as well as the Sunflora's attack. And then we are playing 10 Dark Energy. This is going to be the energy we're discarding with Sunflora, and this is also the energy we need to pull off large attacks with our Galarian Moltres. That about sums it up for this version of Sunflora. I'm very excited to play this in the next format. I think that there are definitely a lot of different ways to play it, given that it doesn't specify what type of energy that you need to use to discard with Sunflora, so you can play different types of energies to actually include a lot of different types of attackers other than my particular list that runs Galarian Moltres and the Dark Energy. Sunflora is just another one of those sneaky decks that could be very fun to play and only gives up 1 prize at a time, so you do have a little bit of time to set up a board state and then come through with things like Galarian Moltres or Slowbro to really steal games away from some of the best decks in the format. It does play very similarly to the Hisuian Decidueye that we recently got, but it only gives up 1 prize at a time, and I know that that deck was pretty fun to play as well. If you enjoy my content, make sure you like the video, comment which deck you want me to talk about next below, and then subscribe to my channel and turn your notifications on. That way you get an alert every time I post an early deck preview or any other content to my channel. And be sure to check out the Pokedads podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts at every Friday. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Deuces.